So Rangers may have finally beaten Celtic, but it wasn't too long ago that they were getting pummeled 5-1 with Joey Barton getting laughed off the pitch. Let's take a look at their starting 11 from September 2016 when Moussa Dembele walked through their defence like it was made of jam. Wes Foderingham. We all remember Wes Foderingham as that angry little goalie who Paulo Di Canio dragged off the pitch while at Swindon, and who he probably smacked around in the showers after the game. The former Fulham, Crystal Palace and Swindon town keeper is a decent shot stopper and is still at Rangers, having made over 100 appearances for them and with a nasty Di Canio but a scary and distant memory. James Tavernier. Unwanted at Newcastle and Wigan and tossed out on more loan spells than he has toes on his feet, suddenly Tavernier has developed from a right back who couldn't rival James Perch for a position to a man who's just scored 35 goals in 173 games for Rangers, including the goal that won them the Scottish Championship. Could this mean that Tavernier's been hitting the gym and drinking the talent juice? Maybe. Could just mean that the standard of Scottish football is on the same level as mouldy Swiss cheese? Who knows? PHILIPPE SENDEROS. When you look at Philippe Senderos' CV and see Arsenal, AC Milan, Everton, Valencia, over 50 caps for his country, you'd assume this fellow was a half-decent defender. The truth is, this guy must have had one of the best agents on planet Earth because he couldn't defend for toffee. He played 3 games for Rangers. This was his debut, where he was sent off. Yep, great first impression. And at the age of 33, he currently plays for Houston Dynamo out in Texas. Rob Kiernan. This former Watford and Wigan defender had been shoved out on 9 separate loan deals before ending up at Rangers. The man probably hadn't unpacked his suitcase in 6 goddamn years. Lee Wallace. Credit to Lee Wallace, one of the only men who stayed with the sinking ship as it plummeted into financial meltdown back in 2012. This 31-year-old left back sacrificed his international aspirations for a while to go and help out his club at grounds with clogged toilets and about 35 disinterested fans. Barrie McKay. Having come through at Rangers, Barrie McKay finally quit the club last year after 100 games, signing for Nottingham Forest before moving on to Swansea a year later. He has not pulled up any trees. Joey Barton. Now, speaking of someone who did quit as soon as things got a little tough, I'm not sure what he was thinking trading Premier League Burnley for Rangers, and then he started talking about how Scott Brown didn't even belong on the same pitch as him, especially after he'd already announced he was a Celtic fan. Oh Christ, 5 games later he was effectively driven out of Rangers after a training ground bust up. Typical Joey, at least he didn't go to jail for this one. Now he's a manager of Fleetwood Town. God help anyone taking advice from the fellow who uses teammates' eye as a goddamn ashtray. Josh Windass. While his dad was a big barreling brute of a centre forward with a belly the size of a small child and whose breath probably smelt like something had died in there, Josh is a different player altogether. Slender and delicate on the ball, the kid is a playmaker. Having ripped things up at Accrington Stanley, he was snapped up by Rangers in 2016 where he scored 13 in 55 games, earning himself a move back to England via Wigan Athletic last year. He only has 2 goals so far this season though. NIKO KRANJCAR. It seems strange to see NIKO KRANJCAR anywhere that wasn't managed by Harry Redknapp. No wonder the Croatian looked so lost and afraid throughout this game. Probably looking around for his comfort blanket that was a twitching 71-year-old in the dugout screaming at how terrific he was. The man with 81 caps for Croatia played 16 games for the club before retiring last year. He no doubt spent the last couple of months frantically using up his phone bill to crown his master king of the jungle. Joe Garner. It feels like a lifetime since Joe Garner was at Rangers, but to be honest, this man's career reads like a headache. He will not stay still. He's played for 9 clubs already with the age of 30, never staying anywhere longer than 3 years. Since Rangers, he's already put in a season at Ipswich Town, where he scored 10 goals, and he's now alongside Windass at Wigan. Kenny Miller, Christ above, what is he now, about 100? No doubt he got booed to the high heavens in this game, considering the old firm triple agent had spent a season knocking them in for Celtic in the Champions League, before deciding to have 2 more spells at Rangers, adding to the one pre-Wolves. The mad thing is, despite being older than most people on earth, he still scored 49 goals in his 3rd spell. Probably just goes to show how horrific the lower leagues of Scottish football are. I mean, if Philippe Senderos was in the top flight, I can only dread the sort of defensive monsters that hibernate in the 3rd. It's probably a world of Paul McShane's, desperately scrambling to understand what an offside looks like. Miller attempted a player-manager role at Livingston, but turned down the full job because he wanted to keep playing, despite being nearly 40 years old. Turns out he was right to do it. He scored 7 in 12 games for Dundee this season, despite having made his professional debut 21 years ago.